Hello, dear APSC and UPSC aspirants. Our daily news analysis of the current affairs we are doing from today in a new way. I hope that this will be more interesting for you, and I request all of you, please share with your friends and please spread the message. This will be highly helpful for all aspirants of civil services examination, whether you are preparing for UPSC civil services or any other state civil services examination. Before starting the session today, I would like to invite you all for an upcoming event on 7th January 2024, Sunday at 7 p.m. It will be live online in the Zoom platform. You can register for this program by clicking the webinar registration link given in the description. Let us start the first topic of the day. In the Hindu newspaper of 29th December 2023, yesterday, we had a news on police seek polygraph test of the 6 as accused in the parliament case. For civil services examination, we need to know what is polygraph test and what is narco analysis test. These two tests are widely used worldwide for identifying the criminals, especially to verify whether a criminal is telling the lie or telling the truth. First, we can understand the difference between these two tests. Polygraph test is a physiological response, and we are not giving any medicine, not giving any sedation to the accused person. By attaching certain instruments to the person using some external instruments like cardio cuff is an instrument, and the sensitive electrodes. Using the cardio cuff and sensitive electrodes, a team of doctors will analyze the blood pressure of the person, the pulse of the person, respiration of the accused person, and change in the sweat and the gland activity. And we are reaching into a conclusion by all these physiological analysis that whether the person is telling the truth or telling the lie. As per this is not 100% verified. In India, we will discuss that this is not accepted as a evidence also, but still it will guide into another evidence. It will guide into the conclusion of the police whether this person is telling the lie or telling the truth. The system of the polygraph, or this method of polygraph to detect the lie of an accused person, was first developed by an Italian criminologist, Casker Lombroso, in 19th century. Coming into narco analysis test, I told that polygraph is done by attaching an external instrument to the body of the person and analyzing the blood pressure and etc., all other physiological changes. At the same time, narco analysis is almost like a semi anesthesia by injecting certain drugs. For example, the sodium pentothal and the other medicines which are used basically for anesthesia, not in the full dose of anesthesia. In certain reduced dose, the person will be in a sedation, and he will speak only the truth. He will not be able to use his discretion to tell the lie. That is why this serum or the external drug injected to the body of the accused person is called as the truth serum. This is also not 100% proved to be correct. We don't have scientific evidence that this is not 100% proved to be correct. Now, coming into most important part of this topic for civil services examination, what does Indian law tells regarding the polygraph and narco analysis test? In 2010, there was a famous case in the Supreme Court of India between Selvi and ORS versus the state of Karnataka. Supreme Court has given the judgment it is impossible as per Indian law to do the polygraph and the narco analysis test on an individual without his consent. For example, if an individual, He wants to prove his innocence. He comes forward readily telling that I want to prove and I'm sure I'm not telling the lie. If you want the investigating authorities, you can do the polygraph test or you can do the narco analysis test. I am ready for it. Still, even if the person has given the consent, he should give the consent in front of a magistrate. Before he is giving the consent, a police officer should explain him the health consequences of doing this test and other legal consequences also he should be aware of. Not only that, the Supreme Court has mentioned that this analysis must be done as per the guidelines of the National Human Rights Commission declared in 2000. But still, now imagine, narco analysis was done and the polygraph test was done. Whatever the person tells in the polygraph test and the narco analysis cannot be taken as an evidence. At the same time, a consequent evidence will be an evidence. For example, when the narco analysis was done in the sedation, a criminal who committed a murder tells that I have hidden the weapons at a particular place. Then this is not taken as a confession, but if the police is able to recover the weapon at that particular place, that is an evidence. This is not a primary evidence. It can be taken as a secondary evidence. Why? Because you have studied in Indian polity the Article 20 of Indian Constitution. The Article 20 has three provisions. The provision number 3 prohibits self-incrimination. Self-incrimination means a person declaring himself as a criminal cannot be taken as an evidence. Why Article 20 clause 3 was added in the Constitution? There is a reason. Because otherwise, it might happen this way. A person is suspected to be an offender. Police arrested him. Police might do the atrocities on the person, might beat the person. Finally, to save himself from the police atrocity, he might confess that I have done this offense. That is why our constitution making committee, Constituent Assembly, has decided that self-incrimination, the confession of a person, is not an evidence in India. Along with this, definitely, you might have seen recently, I have earlier discussed that Indian Evidence Act is going to be abolished. And the new act which is going to come replacing Indian Evidence Act is Bharatiya Sakshya Samhita. And again, we have studied in the last 1 week, there were repeated news on an Indian penal code is going to be, has been abolished. Both houses of parliament have passed the new Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita. These two are very important topic for the civil services examination, whether you are preparing for UPSC civil services or any other state civil services examination. Let us move to the second news. That is related to Ayushman Bharat Abhiyan. Women account for 49% of the Ayushman Bharat card, says the ministry. First, we have to see that Ayushman Bharat scheme. What is that? It is the largest health insurance scheme in the world. It is executed by, or it is implemented by, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. Under this scheme, two sub-schemes are merged. One is Health and Wellness Centers. Second one, National Health Protection Scheme. Health and Wellness Centers means that all over the nation, government has already established 1.5 lakh existing sub-centers. In that sub-centers, people can do the health checkup free of cost if they have taken the Ayushman Bharat's health insurance scheme. The services covered under the Ayushman Bharat scheme, pregnancy care and maternal health services. Many insurance schemes don't cover the pregnancy and the maternal health. Neonatal and infant health services, child health is covered. Chronic communicable diseases, non-communicable diseases, management of mental illness. Many private health insurance do not cover the mental health insurance. Dental care and the eye care and the geriatric care and emergency medicine. Geriatric care, it might be a new term for you. The old age diseases care and the emergency medicine are covered under Ayushman Bharat scheme. Now, what are the benefits? A family who have taken the Ayushman Bharat scheme, they will get a 5 lakh cover of 5 lakh rupees health insurance every year. Here, some insurance schemes have a limitation of number of members in the family. Here, there is no limitation on the size of the family and age also. Any aged group of people will get the insurance. Next one, insurance will cover pre and post hospitalization expenses. Before admitting in the hospital, sometimes the treatment might have been done initially in the OP. That expense also will covered under Ayushman Bharat. Transport allowance for hospitalization. If a person is transported in ambulance expenses will be covered. Another important scheme like the modern private insurance schemes. Under this scheme, cashless benefits from any government medical college or any government hospital and the empaneled private hospitals across the country will be there. Instead of earlier insurance schemes were working this way, you have to first pay the hospital bill. After making, it can be recovered from insurance company. Here, Ayushman Bharat scheme will give you a card. Using that card, cashless treatment can be taken from empaneled private hospitals and the government hospitals. For executing the Ayushman Bharat scheme, we have two authorities, one at national level, National Health Agency, second at the state level, the State Health Agency executes Ayushman Bharat scheme. One of the top headlines of the day, Qatar court drops the death penalty for 8 Indians. It was a major discussion for last 2-3 months. Few former Indian naval officers were awarded death penalty in Qatar with the allegation of the espionage for Israel. After the bilateral debates, and the Qatar court has now commuted the sentence of the 8 Indians. In this context, we need to study regarding the, obviously in the polity. In India also there are certain provisions of pardoning. Article 72, pardon, commutation, because in this news, the term commutation came in the news. Commutation means reducing the punishment from death penalty into imprisonment. That is a commutation. Pardon, commutation, remission, respite, reprieve. All these 5 powers are there for President of India under Article 72. As the term commutation came in the news, you please refer the Article 72 of Indian Constitution as well. Let us move into the topic of the day, India-Qatar relationship. Definitely, India and Qatar, we have a very good bilateral relationship and we have a very good historic relationship with most of the Arab nations. We have a wonderful historic relationship and large number of Indian expatriates are working in Qatar, especially large number of people from Kerala are working in very high positions in Qatar. Coming to India's relationship, Qatar is the largest producer of LNG, liquefied natural gas in the world. That is why that country, the small country, became this much super rich country in the world and they hosted the 2022 World Cup football. 50% of the Indian import of LNG, liquefied natural gas, comes from Qatar. It is very important in the present context also. And it is very important for India because of Russia-Ukraine war. There are sanctions on Russia from international countries. That is why Russia has problem in exporting liquefied natural gas into different parts of the world. Hence, we have to depend mostly on Qatar for our LNG. Other than LNG, we are importing plastics and other petrochemicals from Qatar. Looking into our export into Qatar, although it is not a big amount, $1.97 billion was the export value of the export of India into Qatar in the year 2022-23. Mainly, we are exporting cereals, copper articles, iron and steel articles, fruits, spices, and processed food items we are exporting into Qatar. These are the 3 important news of the day. And for the civil services aspirants, I hope that all of you enjoyed the session. And earlier I was doing with the screen sharing. Today I thought of making in a new way. From today, we'll make it in a more interesting and in the new pattern. We will try to improve the quality of delivering the content for you, not only in the current affairs, Academy of Civil Services. I'm working with Academy for the last 7 years. I'm confident that provides the best quality content for all civil services aspirants through different courses. If you want to know regarding the courses of Academy, you may visit the website of Academy of Civil Services, or you can contact in the phone number 90. Let me write down the phone number here. You can contact in this phone number 908 9085268769. Then if you want to enroll in any course of Academy of Civil Services, you are most welcome. I will be there to teach you Indian economy and modern Indian history, and I'm also teaching the CSAT, certain portions of the CSAT at Academy of Civil Services. Thank you all.